Dear students, last class we have discussed about the advantages and disadvantages of database approach. Now we'll see what is meant by data model, schema and instances. So this is the outline of today's presentation. What is meant by data model and what are the categories of data model and the definition of schema, instance and database, state and the difference among them. First, we will see what is the definition of data model. From the name itself, you understood model means it's a structure. Okay. So, what is it? Data model means you will give the structure of the database. So, the set of concepts to describe the structure of a database and with constraints that the database should obey is called as data model. So, the data of concepts used to describe the structure of a database is called as a data model. That concepts not only the data type, storage structure and so on, it includes the constraints also. So the operations we know, the data model operations are, it may be a inserting operation or it may be a deleting updation, that is deleting operation, or it may be a retrieving data from the database and so on. So some operations will be basic operations, some will be user defined operations. So there are three categories of data models. The structure of a data model we are calling it as a structure of the database is called as a data model. Okay, so in that we are having three different types of data models: high level, low level, and then in between. A high level and low level is called as a implementation or representational data. Implemented representational data model. So first we will see high level data model. High level, otherwise it is called as a conceptual or semantic data model. So from the name itself, high level, we can understand it provides a conceptual data model. No? So it provides a concepts that are close to the way many users perceive data. So that means that users, entities, attributes and relationships. That is ER model. This concept, entities and attributes relationship representation, is called as a entity relationship model. If any database we will take, suppose we will take our college database, means there are entities. The objects are called as, real world objects are called as entities. In college database, what are the objects are involved? We know that we are students, faculties, departments, all are objects. Okay, so that is called as entities. Attributes, the characteristics of the entity is called as an attribute. What are the characteristics related to the entity student? Name, USN, date of birth, address and so on. These are all the attributes. And what is meant by relationship? What is the relationship between the student and faculty? So student, faculty teaches students. So the teachers is a relationship between faculty and student. Okay, what is the relationship between student and department? Student belongs to department. This is a relation. Student studies in the department and so on. So these things should be represented in the conceptual data model. Otherwise it is called as a high level data model. Example is ER model, entity relationship model. Okay, next is physical or low level. Physical data model is otherwise called as low level or internal data model. So physical, from the name itself it is there, it will show how the data is stored in the computer. It will provide the storage structure details. What is the data structure used? What is the access method used to access the data? And so on. So that information described by physical or low level data model. The third model is implementation or representational data model. This model provides the concept that fall between low level and high level. High level we know conceptual data model. Low level we know it's a physical that describes the storage structure details. The intermediate level is called as a implementational or representational data model. Okay, this only used in many commercial database management system applications. Example for that model is relational data model. Okay, so one of the relational data based management system is Oracle. Okay, now these are the three different data models you know: high level, low level, implementational data model. And next we will see what is mean by schema and instance. So database schema means there's a description of a database. Okay, description of the database includes what is the data structure used, what is the constraints used that should hold on the database. Suppose we'll take that our college database, in that we are having that description. What is the description we are having in the college database? We are having 4 entities or objects: student, faculty, department and library. So in that again, if we'll take one particular object, student, we'll be having the different attributes: name, USN, date of birth, address, email ID and so on. So in that each data will take, if for example we'll take USN, that USN, what is the description you have to give? USN means it should be data type. What is the data type? It will take name, alphabetical character as well as numerical character, both together. And what is the length? Maximum length is 10, so the fixed length 10, so that should be specified. Okay, the constraint. And the department means the department name only, we are having 4 departments, so that and all constraints should be specified over there. So that is called as schema. Description of the database is called as a schema. Schema diagram means the diagrammatic representation of the schema is called as a schema diagram. Schema construct means a component of the schema or an object within the schema is called as a schema construct. Suppose we'll take college schema, means what are the objects are there in the college schema? So faculty, student, department. This is called as a schema construct. Then database instant. The actual data stored in the database at a particular moment of time is called as database instance. Otherwise it is called as state or occurrences. For example, now we'll take currently today we'll take in our college database, it will be stored some 1000 students data. That is called as current state. That is called as instance. What data stored in the database, that 1000 student details are called as a instance. Okay. And then what is meant by database state means refers to the content of a database at a particular moment of in time. So initial database state, in the initial state after creating the database, that is empty state. The initial state is called as a empty state. After that we are going to insert the first data now, that is called as a initial, that is initial. Then valid state means the state that satisfies the structure and constraints of the database. So when you are giving that department, should accept only 4 departments. Suppose it will accept the civil department for our college, means it is not a valid database. It is not a, so that each time the database should be in a valid state. And what is the difference between schema and instance means? Schema, we know the name, what are the constructs used, what are the data types used for each attribute and so on. What are the attributes are there, etc. So that changes very infrequently. We are not going to change the structure of the database frequently. But instant will be changed. The content stored in the database will be changed frequently. But that's why I told the name of the student address may be changed, the phone number may be changed, email ID may be changed. Same thing for faculty. Phone number may be changed, address and their qualification may be updated, changed and so on. So that's why the schema changes infrequently, but instant changes frequently. And schema is also called as intention. Instant is otherwise instance is otherwise called as extension or state. Okay, so these are all the difference between schema and instance. I think today's class people have understood about what is meant by data model, what are the different types of data models, and what is schema and instance, what are the differences between schema and instances. So that these are the basic questions you can expect from your lab viva also. What is schema, what is instance, what is schema diagram and so on. So please be strong in these things. Thank you.